Hello, children. Have a nice day. Today, I want to sum up what we have already learned in the previous class because I think there might be some net issues for some children and they couldn't join in the class, and this recorded class is for them, and you can also listen to the recorded class. Okay. We are going to deal with Adventures in a Banyan Tree, written by Ruskin Bond. Okay, it's a story of a boy who spent his vacation in his grandfather's house, and then accidentally he had to watch a fight between a mongoose and a cobra. Okay, and this story is about that event. Okay, Adventures in a Banyan Tree. And this lesson is in Unit 1, Glimpses of Green. It is about nature. We know nature is our mother and nature can give all those that we need. Here is a haiku. Haiku means a short poem with 3 lines. Okay. This nature is not a place to visit, it's home. We have to consider nature as our home. Okay, I will send you what is haiku and what is the specialty of haiku. Okay. Now, Adventures in a Banyan Tree. It's written by Ruskin Bond. Though the house and grounds of our home in India were grandfather's domain, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine chiefly because grandfather at the age of 65 could no longer climb it. Okay, it was a domain of grandfather because the house and grounds of our home in India, they were grandfather's domain. The magnificent old banyan tree was mine, was the boys, because chiefly because what there was a reason for that, because grandfather at the age of 65 could no longer climb on the banyan tree. Grandfather used to tease him. Grandmother used to tease him. Grandmother used to make fun of him about this and would speak of a certain Countess of Desmond. She would always speak about a Countess of Desmond, an English woman who lived to the age of 117 and would have lived longer if she hadn't fallen. Once she had fallen from an apple tree while climbing on it, and she would have lived longer if she hadn't fallen from there. Okay, and grandmother always spoke about that lady. Then the spreading branches of the banyan tree, which curved the ground and took root again, forming a maze of arches, gave me, and this maze of arches gave him endless pleasure because he could enjoy an endless pleasure by enjoying the beauty of nature and the spreading branches of the banyan tree. All things were very special to the boy. The tree was older than the house, older than grandfather, as old as the town of Dera, nestling in a valley. And Dera was nestling in a valley at the foot of the Himalayas, and the tree was very older. Okay, and in his grandfather's house, his best friend, my best friend and first friend and familiar, was a small grey squirrel. Arching his back and sniffing into the air, he seemed at first to resent my invasion. He was not ready to accept him as his friend because he thought that he was invading his privacy there. But when he found that I did not arm myself with a catapult or air gun, I have already said to you the meaning of catapult and the picture of catapult or air gun for hunting, for aiming at some birds and animals, and he knew that nothing was there with the boy. The squirrel became very friendlier. And when I started leaving him pieces of cake and biscuit, he grew bolder and he became courageous and finally became very familiar enough to take food from the hands of the boy. Before long, he was delving into my pockets. Before long, he was delving. He will search very carefully into his pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him headstrong and foolish for trusting human. Okay, his relatives and friends would probably thought of himself. That is foolish. He was very headstrong, foolish because he was very mm, that is he would always attach with human, and he was very foolish for trusting a human in that way. His friends and relatives probably thought of him like that. In this spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs fruits, birds of all kinds would flock into its branches. There were many kinds of birds like red-bottom bulbul, cheerful and greedy, gossiping rosy pastures, and parrots and crows, quabbling. They would always quarrel with each other. They were always shouting with each other all the time. During the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place on the road. Or during this season, this fruit season, the banyan tree became the noisiest place on the road. Okay. Halfway up the tree, I had built a small platform on which I would often spend the afternoons when it wasn't too hot. Okay, half a way up the tree, he would build a small platform and he could spend the afternoon when it wasn't too hot. And on that platform, he could read, propping himself by up against the bole of the tree with cushions taken from the drawing room. And he would read many books like Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, the Mowgli stories, and the novels of Edgar Rice Burroughs and Louis May Alcott made up my bag of a very mixed reading. Okay, there was a mixed reading of all these authors and all these books. When I did not feel like reading, I could look down through the banyan leaves at the world below. Sometimes, when he was boring with reading, could look down through the banyan leaves at the world below. And then he could see his grandmother hanging up or taking down the washing, at the cook quarreling with the fruit vendor, or the grandfather grumbling at the hardy Indian marigolds, which insisted on springing up all over his very English garden. These were the usual things happened there, okay, below the banyan tree, whenever he looked down. Usually, nothing very exciting happened. Usually, nothing very especially or exciting happened there while he was in the banyan tree. But on one particular afternoon, I had enough excitement to last me through the summer. It was an excitement for him to last through the summer. Okay, to last me, to last him through the summer. It was a very excited day. Okay, we can note that what it will be. Okay, in the next class. Then you have to go through the difficult words in the textbook in the parts that we have already discussed, and you can find out the meanings of those difficult words from the glossary. Then write it in your notebook. Then after that, I will give the question answers after completing all the whole lesson. Okay. See here, the characters, you have to write the characters, revisit the story, and complete the story. After completing all the parts, we can do this. Okay, now you have to read the parts that we have already discussed and find out the difficult words in it, and you have to search the meanings of those words in dictionary or in your glossary and write the meanings in your textbook, sorry, notebook. Then what else? Nothing else. And we can discuss the rest of the lesson in the next class. Okay, good. Okay, bye.